race fans, welcome to tonight's late night Rebels at Auto Club. It's the Drunk Driving Awareness 150 here at Auto Club Speedway. Expecting a great race tonight. This is the second round of recruitment races. The original Rebel Racing League is running, getting ready for their late night series starting June 22nd. If you're watching along from home, still plenty of time to get in on the action. Check him out on Facebook, the original Rebel Racing League. You can get in, come out here, compete with everybody else. Tonight's event is sponsored by Arcadia Motorsports. Good to see those guys on board for tonight's race. Going to be a good one. Before we start tonight's show, we would like to give a reminder, this is the Drunk Driving Awareness 150. Tonight we are paying homage in the memory of Bill and Sherry Redditor. 8 years ago, these two extremely nice folks unfortunately lost their lives at the hands of a drunk driver, so this is a memorial race for them. Those that are gone but never forgotten, always thinking about them and trying to live on in their legacy. So tonight it's for Bill and Sherry Redditor. We've got about 30 seconds left of open practice. Right now it's Justin Wilkinson sitting on top of the leaderboard. He's clicked off a 40.61. Zach Wetstein, he's running second with a 46.5. David Sartwell Cornell, he clicked off a 42.10. So but those top guys are putting out, misread that one. He put down a 46.6. So these guys are getting separated about 5 to 6 hundredths of a second around these cup cars, making their way around. If it's anything like last week, you should see a lot of green flag runs, a lot of good, tight racing. I don't want to give it the commentator's curse here, not a lot of crashes that we've seen. These drivers are extremely good at what they do, making it around safe and sound, as we're going to close down practice and get ready to run qualifying. We're going to wait for the drivers to take their single car qualifying. Looks like it's going to be Joaquin Meza. He's going to be the first machine out in that 72 backed Best Buy. Meza, one of the guys that runs a lot of the behind-the-scenes things here at the Late Night Rebels group. Helps them out with league maintenance, points, driver temper tantrums. You can find Meza pretty much doing it all here. As we're going to watch what he does around this racetrack tonight. Auto Club, it is a 2-mile low-banked, kind of a D-shaped oval super speedway that can be run on, so definitely not the cookie cutter a lot of the drivers are used to. It's not one of those, you don't want to call it stereotypical, but very expected 1.5-mile racetracks you can find all across the country. There's something a little bit different. It allows the drivers to work on a few different driving techniques. Can't hold it super wide without worried about breaking that rear end, losing a little bit of traction. As we see Meza, he's using every bit of slip angle he can around the racetrack. And we're going to look for some times getting clicked off here. So only 2 laps these guys have to set good flying lap times. You'll see them on their first lap just getting a little bit of speed, run a little bit higher on the racetrack. And then for their flying lap, they'll drop down, make that racetrack as small as they possibly can, and try and save a few hundredths of a second. I believe all these drivers are on the same setup tonight. So that's going to make the field nice and tight. Meza clicks off a 41.47 last time by. He's edged out by Justin Wilkinson, who clicked off a 41.15. Going to see if either of these drivers should be able to get down to a 41 flat with their ability around this racetrack. In practice, they were running a little bit faster, but that was with teammates and other cars to draft and kind of work with. You're able to gain almost a half second or faster with a draft and a little bit scuffed in tires. So we're going to look for Meza this time by, see if he can edge out Wilkinson's 41.15. Meza clicks off a 41 flat, but look at Justin Wilkinson. He put down a 40.6 on his fast lap. So an absolute barn burner of a lap. Good to see Wilkinson putting that down. So many talented drivers. You can see on the left side of your screen that Arcadia Motorsports backed timing and scoring tower, just how tight this field is. And this is just qualifying. So once they get out there, they've got people to race with. You're going to see the pace get a little bit faster, the driving a little bit more aggressive. as we try and make it green all the way around 150 laps. Right now we're watching Jeff Hinkle in the 23 machine. Jeff put down a 41.39 his last time by. He's got a long way to go if he can drop a 40.6 or faster. You see Hinkle riding that low line. Hinkle doesn't move up a whole lot. He does a 41.04. But right now, Wilkinson is the guy to beat, sitting on provincial pole. Only 500 separate him and Nakula running in second with the 84 machine, followed by Feltz in the 75. Pretty big grid here tonight. I believe it's over 24 drivers, so not bad at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Major thanks to our friends from across the world that might be hanging out, maybe drinking a root beer. There's been a few guys we've had the pleasure of talking to that are normally in bed by this time and wanted to tune in, so we always appreciate that, and our drivers. If you got a favorite driver you're rooting for, let us know in the chat. We're always looking forward to seeing it. These drivers love to get cheered on from the fans, friends, and family alike. Qualifying is going to come to an end here with about 45 seconds left. You watch Charlie Gates Jr. He's making his way down. He clicks off a 41.51. I believe that is his first lap of qualifying, so he's going to run a little bit tighter next time around. So Charles did something a little bit different. Normally you see guys running the high line around these speedways and super speedways their first lap, getting as much time as they can, getting as close to the wall as they dare to eke out every little bit of speed as they go into 3 and 4 and kind of huck it in there. So it looked like Charlie's running a little bit tight that first couple of laps. He's currently still doing great with a 41.51. About a second off the pace right now. Let's see what he's got as he crosses the line. But I think he's going to miss out. Qualifying comes to an end. Let's take a look at our grid. Up front, you've got David Sartwell Cornell, followed by Justin Wilkinson in your first row. Jesse Nakula, Chuck Feltz in your second row. Jason Rockefeller, Steve Levin, he's in the third row. Zach Wetstein and Jeff Paisley, fourth row. Michael Smith, William Gareth, fifth row. Ryan Williams, Matt Geis will be starting 11th and 12th respectfully. Joshua Thompson, Brett Redditor. Redditor is the one actually putting on this show, so we're looking forward to see if he can put down a good flying lap tonight. We talked to him before the broadcasting. He wasn't super confident going into tonight, but he's always out there having a lot of fun. You got Joaquin Meza. He's in 15th. Jeff Hinkle 16th. Kyle Roberts will be starting 17th with Gary Allen 18th. Jeremiah Kershaw and Mike Iyer will be in 19th and 20th. Charlie Gates Jr., Brett Grunewalt will be 21st, 22nd. Peyton Johnson and then Colton Lanford will be running 23rd and 24th. And finally, Joseph Johnson's going to round out the very back of our field here. So let's see what these drivers have in store for us. We're going to be watching David Sartwell Cornell and Justin Wilkinson. That's going to be our front row. They're going to be behind this iRacing sedan. A lot of new updates coming out on the iRacing service this week. If you're not in the loop, usually the iRacing seasons are 12 weeks long, and then week 13 is what they call Silly Week. So week 13, you can see a lot of fun stuff. You can see the Skip Barber cars going around the Charlotte Dirt Oval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You can find yourself racing Mazda Miatas or trophy trucks around a figure 8 track at Irwindale Speedway. Just a lot of fun stuff. That's it's not ranked, so it's not going to count for your iRating score or your safety rating, both things that drivers protect very, very dearly. It's just a good way for drivers to get out there, kind of take a break from the normal seriousness that iRacing has in their official lobbies, and have a little bit of fun. Now, that being said, this is a league event. It's a private event, so there's no goofiness, no shenanigans here. You will see drivers hanging out, racing as clean as they can, but these league races, you race with the same guys week in and week out. You kind of get used to what everybody can get away with and what you can get away with, who you can trust, who you can't trust. So expecting to see some very good, clean racing despite iRacing's week of silliness. On behalf of the broadcast team, I'm James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Always a pleasure to see everybody. We're pushing streams out 1080p, 60 frames a second, trying to put on one of the best shows you can find right now. So Always greatly appreciate the guys that tune in that aren't even running this series. They just enjoy watching a good, clean race we see out there every week. Greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you guys June 22nd as this series actually kicks off. This is the recruitment race, but here we go. A very slow start. Green flag is just now out. We're watching Justin Wilkinson, David Sartwell, Cornell. Oh, already a crash. The commentator's curse is struck bad, and there's crashes everywhere. Let's see who all is involved in that one. Looks like it's going to be William Griffith involved, Jeff Paisley, Jesse Nakula, Brett Redder, Joshua Thompson all involved. So the gift that just keeps on giving will be this opening crash. Let's get an instant replay on that one. So you're currently watching William Griffith. I think he gets involved a little bit late. Not sure who caused the initial incident. That's the number 84 machine. That's going to be Jesse Nakula. See if we can grab Nakula's replay. So Nakula looks like he kind of got loose all by himself. Doesn't look like the number 12 helped him out too much. Number 12 is Jason Rockefeller. He gets out of that third, finishing third, but oh man, that is not a good start here at all. We see 4, 5, 6 drivers involved. The poor number 13 machine, that's Joshua Thompson going for a spectacular ride. So not a fantastic start, taking out a few cars early on into the race as we get ready to re-rack them and do it once more. Interested to see if any EOLs are going to get handed out for that one. That's pretty early on into a run to have that many big problems. But as we re-rack him, you still got Justin Wilkinson. He's going to be out front. David Sartwell Cornell will be in second. Jason Rockefeller third. Steve Loving in fourth, and then Zach Wetstein will round out your top 5. Wetstein, when we talked to the drivers before the race, they did say Wetstein was probably the fan favorite to win it tonight. So let's see if Wetstein has anything for him. We're going to take a quick pause here, do a little bit of adjustment. We'll be right back in less than 10 seconds. All right, we talked to our production guy. We've got the sound a little bit louder for everybody watching at home. That should help you guys out, especially those that may be hard of hearing or don't want to wake up anybody in the house this late at night. As a broadcaster, trust me, we understand your dilemma with that one. So getting ready to re-rack them, and let's see if we can send them out and maybe try and get more than one clean lap here. Keep an eye on David Sartwell Cornell on number 2 machine. He wants to get a great launch here and try and get out front. And stay out front. It's going to be pretty hard to do with such a talented field of drivers behind him, though. So we're watching Justin Wilkinson, the number 31, David Sartwell Cornell, the number 2. That's our front row. Cornell trying to keep a little bit of heat in those tires as he makes the way around. See all the guys shimmying behind him. coming in this time by. Now the initial starts here with this league, the initial start is on the green flag. After that, it's all on the leader as we go green. Look at Sarwell Cornell immediately get to the inside. He wants to stay in the draft with Justin Wilkinson with the number 19 pace scheme tonight. He is running a number 31 transponder, so lifetime is going to be a little bit different from what you see on your screen since he does not have the right transponder on that car. It's an unofficial race I should say. They will allow him to score and continue with his results. There won't be EOLs for numbers or anything of that sort tonight. A little bit of action going on there. You got Zach Wesley in the 420 car. He's going to try and run that high side and see if he can work something a little bit different out. Most of these guys are going to be going high, low, high through these corners, but Zach's trying something a little bit different here. Running that high line, maybe trying to get some speed, and it looks like it's working. He's going to catch this draft of Jason Rockefeller. But Westy running a very unique line here. Not something I've really seen before. Definitely not the norm for the drivers in front of him. Man, look at that pack behind him, though. They're 2x2 rolling very, very deep. You got Kyle Roberts in the mix of it. Roberts running 35, great number. And in front of him, you got, that's going to be Colton Lanford, Peyton Johnson running side by side. So that's going to push a little bit more for air for Roberts, allow him to get back up in there. But just like that, you see Peyton dropping down low. He does not want to give a toe to anybody on that high line. He wants to run single file, stack up the field behind a little bit so he can maybe check out. Lots of good 2x2 racing here. So behind Kyle Roberts, you got Joseph Johnson. He's in the 05. Jeff Paisley's in the mix. Mike Ira, Brett Redder, all running in that pack to be your battle for 11th. Oh, hold on to it, boys. 05, Joseph Johnson almost gets a door check from Jeff Paisley. Paisley's running the inside to 7. Here comes the number 5 of Brett Grunewald as well. He's running the low line, trying to get his way back up there. Jeff Paisley drops high, gets a toe for just a second, and then drops down low. Let's see if he can clear the 35. Kyle Roberts. Roberts doesn't quite have the run, it looks like. Going down the back straight, somebody gets a bump. The field gets unsettled. That's all it takes. If you don't get it entirely square when you go for that bump draft, you can get really excited really quick as these guys are pushing 180, 190 miles an hour down that back straight. Joseph Johnson, despite having that wiggle, he's a man on a mission. He's going to drop low, maybe try and block Brett Redder as they run 3 wide right here for the first time tonight. Almost making it 4 wide. Redder thinks better of it. He does not want to be that second car in the low line. 3 wide once more, going around the corners. The 77, Mike Ira, he's holding the bottom line. I think just praying a little bit that nothing goes wrong as he sees an angry hornet's nest behind him. They're trying to go 3-4 wide whenever they got the chance. This is definitely the exciting spot at the racetrack right now as these guys are hammering down. Let's watch league promoter Brett Redder. He's in the number 97 machine, run that low line. These guys are going to naturally want to drift high as they come out the corners, carry a little bit of speed, but when you're stuck down there, especially when you're 3 or 4 wide, not a lot of room to go. You got to lift a little bit more than you want to. And that also kills a little bit of tire off. These tires will start to fade drastically, probably around the lap 20 to 25 mark. Now, this is a 2-mile, relatively flat circuit they're on. So tire wear is not going to be as much of a factor as a cookie cutter like Charlotte or Atlanta Motor Speedway that absolutely chews up tires. These guys are all clicking off mid-41s right now. Nobody's really settled for position. Everybody's still pushing pretty aggressively. So we're still watching Brett Redder, the 97, but in front of him, you've got Joseph Johnson, Brett Grunewald. They're battling for position. Just all across the racetrack, good, clean racing. So that's what we like to see here as racers, broadcasters, promoters, league owners, you name it. We try and avoid the highlight reel if and when we can. So between Brett Redder, who's currently running 13th, and Jeff Hinkle, who's in 18th, less than a second separates that entire massive pack of cars going around here. We'll take it back up front. We've still got Zach Wetstein up front, the number 420 machine. Definitely what the driver said was the man to beat tonight. He's followed by Justin Wilkinson, the 31, and David Startwell Cornell in the number 2 machine. Cornell is down 2 spots. Westein's up 6. Well, let's talk about Peyton Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Peyton run that number 15 machine, a Chevrolet. He's up 18 positions since where he started in this race. So that is a huge accomplishment for Mr. Johnson. He avoided the first turn, first lap carnage, and is made able to gain a ton of track time here. And once again, that's just a massive swarm of drivers. Steve Lovin's in the mix. He's in the 27 machine, run that high line, trying to hold off Jeff Paisley. He's running low. In front of him, he's got Brett Grunewald, Colton Lanford. Lovin gets a good run. Oh, no, he gets in the side of Jeff Paisley. I think that's going to collect Brett Grunewald as well. We'll get your slow motion replay on that one. There's going to be some hurt feelings, I believe, as Paisley just kind of got cleaned out. That almost looks like netcode. Doesn't look like he fully got into him. No, I think Jeff Paisley might have been the accidental instigator. He gets into the inside of the 27 machine, and then unfortunately gets bucked up into Brett Grunewald, and they both go for a wild ride. Let's see if he can keep it clean through the grass. He's full wheel lock. That dirt background finally showing off its worth. The cross training definitely paying off. So it looks like he gets through it relatively clean. He is going to have some aero damage. He also may come in for some fresh tires after burning those bad boys up and boiling them a little bit. I believe there might have been another crash as well. Let's see if we can get. I saw Colton Lanford involved. Joseph Johnson. That was the wrong button. Colton Lanford in the 51 shows him as crashing, and the 27 gets into him? That's very odd. Not sure if Lanford checked up aggressively. Maybe the other driver didn't see him, but that is a pretty hard hit. And then Joseph Johnson shows he's involved in the crash as well. That's Johnson. Oh! Well, there's the crash. He just drills Colton Lanford, kills his motor, and he's going to have to come in. Not sure what the guys are doing tonight, but it's far too early, I think, to have any of that. You're going to see the leader. Pretty much the entire field is going to come in on that one. Lap 15 out of 75. They're going to come in and take tires. We'll look at the pit deltas to see just how many tires they take, see if drivers are coming in for 2 tires or 4. They may be planning on a long green flag run, but judging by the history so far, it doesn't look like that's going to be a thing going into tonight. A lot of cautions this early on. Not a good sign from our drivers. Let's see as the drivers come back out. We'll get an eye on pit delta, see how quick they are. So let's see, we're going to take a look at live time. It looks like pretty much all the drivers in with between 14 and 15 seconds in their box. So these guys are going to be taking 4 tires this early on. Now let's see here. Second caution of the night. We're averaging about 7 or 8 good clean laps per run. Extremely, extremely short, especially for a track this size. This isn't Wilkesboro. This isn't Martinsville. You would hope to see a little bit better green flag runs, but guys still getting everything sorted out here. Looks like Mike Irive in the 77 machine. He's going to take an extended pit stop, try and get his damage. He's been in for over 2 minutes so far. You see Joseph Johnson, he's out of the race tonight. About 20 cars still on the lead lap here as we get ready to do it again. This time it's going to be Wilkinson out front, followed by David Sartwell Cornell, Jason Rockefeller third, Zach Wetstein in fourth, Peyton Johnson, he's back in fifth now. So Johnson still holding out strong. He's up 18 spots. You can see if he can keep charging. Everybody does have new cold tires, so hopefully these drivers take it easy. You see a few of the guys wiggling those cup cars, trying to get some heat into it, while also avoiding crashing into their friends and competitors on the inside or outside of them. So while a little bit of extra heat's always a good thing, crashing on the yellow flag is subject to race penalties and endless making fun of by your friends, so nobody wants to do that. Jason Rockefeller always has some of the best looking cars out here. He's driving the Spider-Man theme again. Always some great original paint schemes out here. Justin Wilkinson gets a great launch. He's going to run the high line with David Sartwell Cornell behind him. Sartwell getting a big push from Zach Wetstein, trying to make his way up pretty quickly here. We know Wetstein has the pace to run out front. He wants to get up there as early as he can, but here comes Rockefeller on the low line. He's going to get clear and then throw an absolutely nasty block early on in the run. And that's going to be the 15, Peyton Johnson running up the inside. Now let's see if Johnson can get clear. He is going to skate up the racetrack, and it's his turn to put on a block. He throws a nasty one on Rockefeller. Rockefeller swerves high to avoid it. Try and carry a little bit of speed here. Gentlemen, it's only lap 19. You don't have to win it on the first 15 laps, but you can definitely lose it. Johnson and Rockefeller running two very different lines. Rockefeller's happy to run that high line, trying to get a little bit more speed, but Peyton Johnson making the track smaller. You can see Johnson definitely does not have the driver on that inside compared to Rockefeller, who just blitzes by. But now it's Rockefeller's turn. He's going to be on the inside with Johnson on the outside. Johnson, we know that line can carry a little bit more speed. Is Rockefeller going to give him the same courtesy? These guys have been blocking back and forth all night. He's going to move to the high line, but he's got plenty of space to do it. Look at Zach Wetstein in front of him here in the 420. This field's stacking up a little bit, so despite the guys going back and forth pretty aggressively, they're still moving their way up towards the front. Rockefeller now, his next target is David Sartwell Cornell and Zach Wetstein. He's up there with the lead pack. This will be your battle for third. Most of the drivers seem content falling in single file, at least for a little while. Except Mr. Wetstein. He's still running the low line, see if he can get a little bit of speed. Almost an incident there between Johnson and Steve Loving. Loving in the 27 machine. Looked like he was going to come up the racetrack as he got a little bit tight on him and pushed high. Manages to keep it cool, calm, collected as they make it through another one. Live on to battle for the next few laps. As a driver, always very intriguing to see what different lines these guys are taking, especially as the run develops. These guys will have a little bit more traction to play with early on the run. We say it every night, but imagine you have a dollar bill. And every little bit of traction is worth 1 penny. These guys have to decide where they're going to spend their change throughout a green flag run and still have a little bit of money left in the bank for the end and traction. Otherwise, you'll just get so tight, it becomes not a whole lot of fun to drive around the racetrack as the cars get very, very pushy around here at Auto Club Speedway. Oh man, we are racing hard now. Johnson has Zach Wetstein all over the rear bumper of that machine. The number 2, David Sartwell Cornell, he gets a little bit of a run on the race leader, Justin Wilkinson. Doesn't really have any place to take it. These guys are racing so hard, it's going to stack up the field, and that's where it gets really exciting as we watch David Cornell. He's holding off Jason Rockefeller, and now Peyton Johnson, he's very well in the mix. Rockefeller's going to dive low here, maybe see if he can do a little bit of a slide job on Cornell. It's not going to get clear. He's going to go back to the preferred high line, get back to the draft, get a little bit more speed, and maybe make a pass at it the next time by. All right, here comes Peyton Johnson. He's on the inside now. Trying to make a move on Zach Wetstein. Does not like to be able to make it stick, but man, this is a very good battle all the way up to first. Less than 0.4 of a second separate your top 5 right now, so these guys are absolutely hauling. They put down 41.1s for the most part that last lap compared to their best of low mid 40s. So about 8 laps on these set of tires. They are slowing down a little bit, and some of these guys are playing the tire wear game. Who's going to push too hard early on? Gives up that entire dollar bill's worth of traction early on the run. It looks like we have a better shot of going green. We've beaten our record so far. Maybe these guys can stay out and keep charging, get some good clean racing. It looks like David Cornell, he's going to try the low line. He's assisted by Jason Rockefeller, who's fallen in tow. But Cornell is going to leave him low and dry in this case, as he gets back to that preferred line, high, low, high. And he's going to try and creep up on Justin Wilkins. Zach Westing doing great. He's up 4 spots. He's in the 3rd so far tonight. These guys are battling so hard so early on. Still anybody's guess where it's going to shake up, but for the most part, very good clean racing. Wetstein in the Budweiser-sponsored 420 machine. He's followed by Jason Rockefeller, Peyton Johnson, guys we've seen run up front in other races here. For the most part, I believe all of these drivers have the pace to win. It's going to come down to tire wear and strategies as the run develops. Nobody wants a 5-6 caution lap race where it's just a bunch of sprints. Oh no, David Cornell, he might have had a moment. He goes very high, makes it tough to carry as much speed. Here comes Wetstein and Rockefeller. They've got a good run. Not sure if they're going to be able to suck up to Cornell in time to do anything with it. But Cornell, definitely that run at super high line. Haven't seen that from anybody tonight, which makes us lead to think it was probably a mistake. Didn't really intend to be up there. But manages to keep it going and really hasn't much lost time at all to the leader. He's briefly involved in a little bit of too wide action. He gets by Matt Geis in the number 2 machine. For the most part, looks like the field's been a little bit happy, getting settled in, run single file. Now you'll see guys working on tire wear strategies and see if they can just not necessarily be faster than the guy in front of them, but be more consistently faster. So even if it's a couple tenths here and there, we got problems in front of Redditor. That's the number 7 of Jeff Paisley in the Phantom machine. He gets up into the wall. He was involved in one of those earlier incidents, so he's able to get the car repaired, get back out there. I'm assuming the drivers have 1 fast repair tonight at their disposal, if not 2. During league races, I don't believe they use any, so if you crash, you're done, whether it be your fault or not. And here comes Redder. He gets a run on Paisley. Paisley might be suffering a little bit of aero damage after giving the wall a loving race strike. Redder drops out of line. He drops down low, trying to get by Paisley. Let's see if Paisley can carry a little bit more speed around the outside, but I think Redder's going to have him here. If Redder can slide up and throw a block, he does. Now look at Jeff Paisley, his turn, and he's going to go low. Maybe return the favor to Redder. Behind Paisley and Redder's battle, you've got Matt Geis, Nicholas Smith, Chuck Pegleg Feltz. Those guys are all battling for that 9th spot. We're going to circle back to the lead. Looks like Zach Wetstein's just made a pass. He's currently showing in 2nd. He gets by Jason Rockefeller in the beautiful number 12 Spider-Man machine. This is very interesting to know. Look at the drivers. They're starting to work that high line a little bit more as the run develops. And looks like they carry a little bit more corner speed as well. So you've been seeing guys drop low then high and kind of driving out of the corner, using up every ounce of racetrack. But now looks like the preferred line is the high line from our leaders, Justin Wilkinson and Zach Wetstein. Jason Rockefeller still running that low to mid-high line. He's eking in on Wetstein. Not sure if Wetstein's going to be able to maybe save a little bit more tires running that high line, if that might be the strategy. Or if at this point in the run, he's kind of exploring different options, maybe seeing what Justin Wilkinson's doing up front. We're going to take you on board with Rockefeller. You see how hard he is wheeling that and sawing through the corner. So if you're watching along at home and thinking, this is nothing to it, you just go fast, turn left, boy, do I have a surprise for you. Rockefeller giving a lot of input there on the ragged edge of traction there. You can see how close he gets to Wetstein right in front of him. It gives you an idea of how hard these guys are actually pushing. Let's watch him go as he goes into 1 and 2 here. So pretty big, heavy lift. He's trying to save a little bit of tires. He's going to back those brake markers up a ton. But look at this. Here comes Peyton Johnson on the inside of there. Does he make it stick? Does Johnson make it stick on Rockefeller? We'll see as they come out of this corner. Johnson does make it stick. Rockefeller gives him a shove and say, hey man, you're slowing me down here, but Johnson did a pretty clean move there, and I can see Rockefeller glued to the rear bumper of the 15 machine, trying to get a little bit of speed going around this corner. Not sure if he's going to be able to carry it around that outside. It looks like that middle line's still pretty dominant. But all these guys are right within prime time drafting. If that pack of 3 of Johnson, Rockefeller, Cornell can stay linked up, they should be able to catch the leaders, Justin Wilkinson and Zach Wetstein. That being said, I don't think the drivers got the memo. I think they're too busy battling for 3rd to worry about catching the lead pack. They want to race. They're not here for strategy quite early on. We're at just about the halfway point. As maybe these guys have gotten the bugs settled down and calmed down just a little here. And that wide angle shot really lets you appreciate how fast these trucks are moving. Right now in the corners, they're going about 170 miles an hour, carrying on at the backstretch, hitting up the speeds. I believe 190 is one of the highest trap speeds. No, that's 193. Johnson puts down one of the fastest trap speeds of the lap with a 193. Rockefeller does a 192. Compared to your leaders, they did a 183 and a 185 that last lap. So these guys are absolutely moving in 3rd and 4th position. Ignore the broadcaster. They've got it together. They know what it takes to get up front, and they're not willing to lift any at this point to make it happen. Very different lines still going on. Wetstein's running the high line as well as Rockefeller. And then Peyton Johnson and Justin Wilkinson, third and first place. They're running a lower line through that section of the racetrack. Oh, here comes Wetstein. He's going to dive it up the inside of Justin Wilkinson. He's going to take the lead going into 1 and 2. Can he make it stick? Wetstein drifts a little up the racetrack. Not quite a full-blown block, but definitely slows down the 19 just a little bit. But here's where it gets good, as we're having a four-way battle for first. Peyton Johnson, he's putting his nose in the mix. He wants up there. He wants a shot at it. He's trying to get by Wilkinson and Rockefeller right now. Not sure if he's going to make it clear. He drifts up the racetrack, but his spotter says, nope, can't do it. He's on your bumper. And Wetstein running great, but he gets to watch the show right behind him. It would be to his benefit for these guys to battle as hard as they can. Slow each other down a little bit, maybe burn each other's tires up some, and allow Wetstein to get a little bit of breathing room, but does not look like it's going to happen this time by as they go too wide down the straightaway. Wilkinson and Johnson right next to each other, following Wetstein in the corner. Wilkinson's trying to use every little bit of draft he can off the 420 machine. Try and stay in front of Peyton Johnson, but Johnson up 20 spots. He's a man on a mission. Rockefeller, he's been kind of watching this and enjoying the show, as well as David Startwell Cornell. Cornell, I think, currently running 5th place. He might be more than happy to watch this unfold in front of him. Maybe betting on a crash as this run keeps going on. The cars are going to keep tightening up, get a little bit harder to drive as deep, and when you're running this tight with everybody, no one wants to be the first one to lift. We always hear that in racer school, and we teach it in the motorcycle racing school. Never change your brake markers by who's next to you, because the joke is that guy's looking over too, and if he's not going to brake till you brake, and you're not going to brake till he brakes, next thing you know, you're barreling into 1 and 2 here at Auto Club Speedway wide open because none of you wanted to lift. Still Zach Wetstein out front, Justin Wilkinson right behind him, utilizing that draft. Peyton Johnson's trying to get back in the mix of it. Rockefeller's still there as well. And David Starbuck Cornell, he's very content to watch this show from a few cars back. Cornell's about 2 seconds back from the leader, so still within striking range of the pack if something happens. He's about 1.6 seconds away from Jason Rockefeller, currently running 4th. Very, very glad to see a green flag run develop. Looking forward to more door banging action June 22nd. These guys are racing for points in a championship. I think everybody's kind of toeing with seeing how far they can go up and maybe try and rope the guy in behind them to do a little bit of a door tap on the wall. Especially as this thing keeps running on and developing. They're on about 30 lap old tires right now, so definitely falling off. They're doing mid to high 42s compared to their best of a 40.6 for the most part. So about 2 seconds off the pace at this point. You would never know unless you were watching the stoplight though, because these guys are still pushing hard just like it's lap 1. Great racing from our field right here. We've seen a few guys enter the pits. Steve Levin came in, Gary Allen came in, Matt Geis, they all came in. They're thinking, you know what? I'm falling off too bad. Let's come in and get some tires, see if we can hope for a caution, maybe get back out there on a lead lap. But some of these guys, especially if they haven't put in a whole lot of time leading up to a recruitment race, which is you don't want to say the drivers are going to take it less seriously, but there's not any points in the line. It's a fun run among friends. You don't have to really bust tail as much in the week to try and win a recruitment race when there's less on the line. So some of these guys running the track and car setup for the very first time here tonight and realizing, oh boy, if we drive 100% the first 15 laps, this thing is an absolute dump truck. making its way around the racetrack as the front end gets so pushy. We do see a crash by Matt Geis on live timing and scoring, but the caution does not come out. Not sure what happened to Geis right there. It looks like he just left the pits, and then it shows him with an incident. So he might have self-spun with fresh tires. They're cold, they're slick, they're not scuffed in. And circling back, most importantly, they're cold. That's the biggest thing. Oh, we see a little bit of wall tapping there. That's Peyton Johnson, the 19 machine. Car's getting tighter and tighter as he hits the wall, bleeds off a little bit of speed. Peyton Johnson's going to do his best to capitalize on this straight. They're going to go side by side here. Johnson's kind of got the preferred line. He's on the small side of the track, getting it tighter and tighter. Still on the door. Can he get cleared right in the low line? He's going to try and slide job up to the top of the racetrack. Get in front of the number 19 machine. And a nice clean pass by Peyton Johnson. Justin Wilkinson does not want to lose that spot. Now he's going to dive back down the inside. The entire time this is happening, Zach Wetstein just appreciative to have some people off of his back for a moment. Wetstein's still running up front. He's up 6 spots in the 420 machine. And they go back and forth, but it looks like Wilkinson might have maybe touched the wall there, slowed down the pace even more. Yeah, you got lap traffic in effect. That's going to be the number 7, Jeff Hayes, on the inside line. He's going to give these guys a preferred line. He's driving around with a damaged car. Looks like Kyle Roberts came into pit. Gary Allen came in again. Jeremiah Kershaw, Brett Grunewald, all coming into pit lane this time by lap 47. Some of these guys 3 seconds slower than what they're doing at the beginning of a run, where those tires just getting more and more worn out. But I think you're going to see the leaders try and stay out as long as they possibly can. Oh, here we go, boys. Hold on to it. Lap traffic's taking the inside line. He's going to enter himself in the mix. Everybody scatters up front trying to find a better line, but if you get a second, watch the number 66 right there. That's Gary Allen. He's coming out with 4 tires and fixing some repairs, so you're going to see how good fresh tires can be. Allen may be content just falling around the lead pack here. I think he's going to put himself in lucky dog position if a caution does come out. Lead car 1 lap down. Wetstein checking out, though. He's got a 0.6 second gap on second place Jason Rockefeller, as Rockefeller still battling with Peyton Johnson. Both of these guys kind of playing chicken here as they run closer and closer to that outside wall, seeing who still has the tires to save it as that car pushes up the racetrack. Peyton Johnson's going to go low once more. Not quite able to get clear, so Johnson's going to stay low as Rockefeller's been running that new preferred line, the high line you see guys run as the run develops. And here comes Rockefeller. He's on the inside. He wants to take it back. These guys not yielding any position, but every time they do this, Zach Wetstein up front gets a little bit more time. Now he's about 0.9 seconds above Jason Rockefeller. Rockefeller's going to dive low. I think he's going to swoop up right here, maybe get himself clear. He is not. It's going to be a drag race here across start finish. As now it's Rockefeller's turn to go low. Zach Wetstein, your leader, did come into pit right there. So Wetstein's going to come in. You can expect to see Peyton Johnson, Jason Rockefeller, they're going to come in as well. We're betting with 26 laps to go. It'll be 25 to go once these leaders cross the line. Peyton Johnson and Jason Rockefeller, they both clicked off 42.77 their last time by. Just about 2 seconds on the dot. Here comes Johnson. He's going to come in for pit lane. Rockefeller. Oh, Johnson locks it up, hits the wall. Ooh, that is not what you want to see. That's going to really put a damper on his spirits, as now he's got to avoid all the other cars coming into pit lane as well. So Johnson might be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory here, as he has a very, very tough time making his way onto pit lane. Jason Rockefeller, he's still out, your race leader. It's looking like he's hinted at the low line, like he might be coming in the next lap or so. Rockefeller, who did stay out one lap further than Peyton. I don't think he expected Peyton to come in quite so early. They had to run for a little while, so Peyton was maybe going for the undercut there. But Rockefeller, his saving grace was Peyton had a very, very tough time, as he just kind of blinks himself off the wall after locking it up. Not something you expect to see out of these professional racers here, but bad luck strikes everybody. That's what makes it racing and not just consistent winning. So Joaquin Meza, he's going to get a lap led. Number 72 machine. Oh, there's a crash. There's a big crash. Meza does his best to avoid it. That's going to be Jeremiah Kershaw involved, Brett Grunewald involved, and William Griffith. Let's see if we can get your Arcadia Motorsports sponsored instant replay. So right now you're watching Jeremiah Kershaw. Let's see what happens. He may just drift up the racetrack trying to get himself clear. Yeah, looks like he just kind of pinched, I think it's the number 5 machine, Joseph Johnson. Yeah, it's going to be Joseph Johnson involved. So looks like the 71 just kind of pinched Johnson. No, excuse me, that's Brett Grunewald involved. So Grunewald gets pinched up the racetrack. We've got Brett Grunewald in the 5 machine, and then we had, I believe it was Joseph E. Johnson in the 05, so my apologies. 75 gets involved as well. That's Chuck Pegleg Feltz. Man, that was just a rough crash for several people. See the 71 involved. That's Jeremiah Kershaw. Let's see if we can catch his angle. Kershaw just having a rough night there. I think it's Matt Geis might also be involved. We're going to see if we can get his on board. That's guaranteed to be a good time. So you're on board with Matt Geis right now. Oh, in the slow-mo, Cheddars.com gets the TV time. Geis has nowhere to go as that car was bouncing across the racetrack. So then Matt Geis goes on for a spectacular ride as well. So a lot of good cars, good drivers involved in that one. And that is going to really mess up the pit strategy here. So Zach Wetstein, he came in on lap 49. He was already out. Justin Wilkinson boxed lap 49, as well as David Sorwell Cornell. That's your top 3. Behind him, you've got Brett Redder. He's up 10 spots. He's in 4th place right now, the 97. His last pit was 47. Look out for Jason Rockefeller. That might have been a saving grace for him, as he was in and out on lap 51. With our third caution of the third caution of the night, 22 laps to go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at one heck of a shootout about to happen. These guys know they can run about those 20 laps as hard as they can before the tires fall off, where it's just not fun to drive anymore. If you're following along tonight, watching the broadcast, and you're thinking, what does this silly broadcast man mean by not fun to drive anymore? So the longer these cars circulate around the racetrack, they build up heat, which causes them to lose traction, and they just wear out. They degrade. The rubber rubs off is the best way to put it. And the car will tighten up, which that means is the car will naturally be harder to turn. It won't rotate through the corners. It'll want to push that front right tire up to the top of the racetrack. So as the runs develop, you'll see these guys lifting a little bit earlier, going to the corner and slowing themselves down more. Try and save some tires, trying to keep that front end from pushing too badly. But with 21 laps to go, it should be maybe 20 when we cross the line. You're not going to see a lot of holding back here, as everyone's going to be hammering down right off the get-go, trying to make something happen. Wetstein, the driver's favorite, he's back out front. Justin Wilkinson, he's been running great all night. Start off second, currently sitting in second. That's going to be Wilkinson, the number 19 machine. And then David Starwell-Cornell, he started off on pole today and then worked his way back to third. But you got to talk about Brett Redder, he's up 10 spots. Jeff Hinkle, he's up 11 spots. You got Peyton Johnson, he's up 16. So he's up to 18 or 19 at one point, and then did his best to avoid a little bit of mid-race carnage. We're going to stack them up with 20 to go at the line for a hopefully final green flag run. We're going to get ready to take it green. We're going to watch that Ford Mustang iRacing pace car come in with 20 to go at the line. It's going to be Zach Wetstein out front, Justin Wilkinson. Those are your two really dominant cars to watch. But cautions always breed cautions, and now we've got a stacked up field. Most of the guys are on similar, if not the exact same set of tires at this point. Wilkinson doesn't look like he get the launch that he really wanted. It's going to allow David Starwell-Cornell to dive up the inside. Oh, there's carnage in the back straight. Not sure who that was. Somebody has a rough go. Absolutely obliterates our blend line cone. But we stay green. That might have been Mike Ireb involved, not quite sure on that one. But good save, keeping it off the racing line, allowing these guys to go green. Well, let's watch this battle for first. That's David Starwell-Cornell. You see on the right side of your screen that black and green Ford Mustang. He's chasing down Zach Wetstein, also in the Ford Mustang, the 420 machine sponsored by Budweiser. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on in the back of the field here, but it looks absolutely violent. I think that might have been Kyle Roberts and Ryan Williams kind of pushing their way across the racetrack. Not sure if somebody got loose. The other guy followed, but very unique things we're seeing here. Like we said before the green flag, though, these guys are hammering down as hard as they possibly can, pushing, pushing, pushing. Wetstein and Cornell still working that high line. Here comes Wilkinson. He's been running that high-low transition, trying to eke out a little bit more speed. Maybe get himself up to the bumper of Cornell. And Sparks around the racetrack. That might have been Cornell. Gets a little bit of wall happy on that one. Oh, hold on to it. There goes Justin Wilkinson. We said we kind of, it's a metaphor saying using every inch of the racetrack, but I don't think an inch would be enough to see what Wilkinson just did. I mean, he was dangerously close. So Wilkinson's still working the low line. Here comes Peyton Johnson as well. He's down low trying to edge out Wilkinson. They're going to go too wide down the back straight. Not sure if Johnson's going to be able to, it doesn't look like he wants to work the side draft because everybody's a little bit wiggly to the right-hand side of him. But now Wilkinson's got somebody to work with him. Johnson, if he can stay with him, they can push each other up to the front, get on the inside of Zach Wetstein and Cornell, and suddenly you got a four-car shootout for first. 16 laps to go. These guys are going to drive as hard as they possibly can. Tire wear, not really an issue. They take it, I guess, technically 3 wide at that point through 1 and 2. You've got Peyton Johnson on the far inside, Justin Wilkinson in the middle, and David Cornell, he's in the mix of it as well. So now they're going to stack it up. 2 wide, 3 rows deep. Everybody's trying to find their place here. Oh, hold on to it, gentlemen. They're 3 wide for second place. Going around the start-finish tri-oval. Who's going to get it into 1 and 2? Is anybody going to lift? Is anybody going to be happy where they're at? Maybe settling behind another car? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're going to take it 3 wide, lap in, lap out. Johnson still run the low line. You've got, I believe that's Justin Wilkinson. He's running the middle line, the number 19 machine. Cornell run the high line, but don't forget about Jason Rockefeller. Now he's in the mix, the number 12 machine. Once again, 2 wide, 2 rows deep. 15 laps to go. Johnson starting to work that high line a little bit more, maybe carry a little bit of speed. He doesn't want to kill tires too much. He's got 15 to make him last. They're going to run single file for the most part, except for Justin Wilkinson. He's stuck on the inside, working that side draft as hard as he possibly can. Maybe get a good run down the inside. It's tough to throw a block, though. When they're 4 cars deep, you might get run over. Peyton Johnson, he starts working the low line as well. Maybe he'll get behind his friend Justin Wilkinson and give him a bump. No, he's going to go back to the high line. There's contact. Has to be Rockefeller is putting poor Spider-Man right into the wall one more time. Seeing how much those safety barriers really have to offer him as far as grip. It doesn't look like much. Contact between the 15 and 19 machine. These guys are driving so close. Now it's Cornell's turn. He's on the inside. We've seen him been running that high line pretty much all night. He might have kind of got bumped out of the way from Rockefeller. Now he's going to be glued to the back of Zach Wetstein. But look at Cornell. He's going to try to get the drive. He's going to throw the block, and he makes it stick for up front. And there they go, ladies and gentlemen. Big crash. Got Justin Wilkinson crashed. Jason Rockefeller crashed. No caution, though, which is very odd. So a lot of these recruitment races, they won't have live race control in the booth as well. Those guys do have the option to throw manual yellows if the iRacing officials don't pick it up. But since Rockefeller and Wilkinson were off the racing line on the apron of the track, they're going to keep it green. 12 laps to go. Zach Westing out front, David Cornell right behind him, Peyton Johnson third, Brett Rutter's moved up to fourth, Jeff Paisley fifth. This is going to be looking very good for a final shootout here. None of these drivers want to tip their hand too early, not let the other guys know what they still have in their back pocket as far as passing goes. They're going to make their way around, maybe click off a few more laps, maybe lap 3, 4, 5 to go. You're going to see some pretty aggressive moves. Some guys using their bumpers for a passing light. No flashing the high beams here, just a little bit of love taps and fenders. Jason Rockefeller, he's going to come to the pits. He's probably done for the night. Very frustrating run for him. Rockefeller ran so great in that number 12 machine. This is your battle for the lead. It's 3 cars deep. Zach Wetstein, David Sorwell Cornell, Peyton Johnson, all pushing hard. Brett Rudders, he's about 0.3 seconds back from Peyton Johnson right now. So still very much in the hunt for a lead if he can keep that draft and start working it towards the end. 11 laps to go. Every car has moved up to the high line right now, so they're going to try and carry as much speed as they can, stay in the draft. And now we're just watching, waiting, seeing which driver is going to make the first move as we click them off. It's going to be 10 to go now. Peyton Johnson, absolutely the hard charger tonight. He's up 20 spots, currently sitting in third. So after not the qualifying session that he wanted, able to get out there and run up front, very impressive. Great practice from the league kicks off. And again, you don't really know what it's like to race with the same guys all the time, and so you get actually out there, bump bumpers, maybe scrape off some door handles, and get some courtesy waves out the window. So these guys are all getting great seat time, taking notes. Their crew chiefs are watching, their spotters are watching, and working on some different stuff as the run develops. We got Michael Smith. He's in a solo, possibly a solo car crash. Let's get a replay of what happened to Mr. Smith. That's Michael Smith, the 8 machine, just gets a love tap from the 75, pushes him wide. Ooh, and then a hard hit. Oh! How? Oh, that could have went way worse. Let's see if we can get the Arcadia Motorsports sponsored instant replay on that. because I believe we have a code brown situation for several of the drivers. So watch Mike Smith. He's going to be on kind of the middle of the racetrack here. And that's the 75 of Chuck Pegleg Felts. Looks like they just barely get into each other, but this is about to be the replay right here. We'll get a tighter camera angle. So watch this. Poor Michael Smith goes for a spectacular ride. He locks it up. Absolutely drills the inside of the line. No safety barrier here. That is a hard hit. And just look at this. That could have went spectacularly worse. So Mike Smith, very, very thankful to get that one relatively unscathed. I mean, that was a very hard hit, and hopefully he's all right after that. But so many machines almost collected. Now, here's where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 8 laps to go. And it looks like they are going to come in. Let's look at the pit times and see who takes 2 tires, who takes 4. But a brave move from your race leader, Peyton Johnson. No, excuse me, Zach Wetstein. He's the actual race leader. So let's see how these works out for the drivers. Looks like a lot of guys staying out. Joaquin Meza, he's staying out. Pegleg Felts involved in that last incident, he's out. Ryan Williams, he stays out. So all those guys pitted between lap 50 and 53. So relatively old tires. But now let's watch the show here. Who's going to be the first car out of that original lead pack? Is it going to be Peyton Johnson? Is it going to be Zach Wetstein? Looks like all these drivers taking 4 tires for the most part. Jeff Hinkle took 2. Jeff Hinkle, I believe, is the only top 10 driver I see there that only took 2 tires. So this is going to be interesting. So now Zach Wetstein, Peyton Johnson, David Sarwell-Cornell, your previous top 3, they're going to be behind Joaquin Meza, Chuck Pegleg Felts, and Ryan Williams. And these guys are on older tires, so that's when things can get very dicey. About 15 laps separates these guys as far as tire sets go. We know that the previous top 3, Wetstein, Johnson, Sarwell-Cornell, have the pace, but what's going to happen when they've got these 3 drivers ahead of them that might be 1 or 2 seconds off their best pace? That's what can breed calamity here at the Speedway. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I, for one, am very excited to see how this one shapes out. If there was ever a time to be nervous as a top 3 driver, Meza, Felts, Williams got to be feeling it here, as there is a very strong chance they get absolutely ran over. Let's get ready to re-rack them. That iRacing pace car is out. You're going to see the field start forming up behind them. I say that. Looks like the drivers have been watching the Mighty Ducks doing that flying V formation. There we go, boys. Getting it nice and tidy. We're going to put the camera on good old Pegleg. He's in the 75 machine. Pegleg, he's up 2 spots from where he started tonight, so he had a rough start early on. Now he's back up front. It's going to be Pegleg, Felts, and Joaquin Meza, your first 2. Meza in the Best Buy machine, he's going to be on the inside. Felts on the outside in the 75 machine with that very cool Marines paint scheme, paying homage to his friends and family that served. Green flag is out. Oh, Felts did not get a good launch there. Allows Meza to stretch it out just a little bit. Ryan Williams, he's covering the outside. These 3 drivers on older tires are definitely not going to make it easy for the guys behind them. Look, oh, here we go. 5 laps to go. It's anybody's guess. That's been the 420 of Zach Westing. Gives the bumper to Joaquin Meza so he can get himself around. He's got Pegleg Phelps up the inside. And here comes Starwell Cornell. Oh no! Cornell gets into Pegleg, spins him around. Caution comes out. Calamity ensues behind him. Oh no! That's 15 Peyton Johnson. He's involved too. That's one of our top cars. Let's see if we can get this one on the replay. This is going to be some hurt feelings tonight. So look. We're going to back that camera angle up, try and get a little bit better camera angle here. Getting the sponsored chopper. So look at the very top of your screen. You're going to see the car is roughly going 2 by 2 there. And you've got Pegleg. He's on the left side. Let's see, does he get pinched? Or does he come up the racetrack? Looking at the lines, looks like Phelps might have come up. That's a hard one to call. I'm not sure how a race control would call that one. And things just go from bad to worse back here. So look, Peyton Johnson, he's involved. He's one of our front cars tonight. Johnson hits the outside of the wall after getting into the 19. Too much angle. All the way across the racetrack. Tries to go for the aggressive pit entry. And locks up the brakes trying to avoid the wall. But no, he gets into it very, very hard. So as the racers say, that is not ideal. So now that's going to put Wetstein out front. He's got David Sortwell Cornell behind him. Cornell might very well have aero damage after that. He was definitely involved. Maybe the front left might have some damage on it. Not sure how that aero is going to affect him in this very final run shootout. And I don't entirely know. Was not able to talk to race control. Not sure if we're doing a green-white checkered attempt or not. Hopefully we are. We don't want to see a racing under caution under any circumstance if we can help it. Racers race. We want to see him get back out there and start pushing hard. The old 420 giving a wiggle to the fans at home. He's very pumped to be out there. He's having a great race so far. But let's see, can he bring it home for the win tonight? Westing's been a very, very fast car. But so is Cornell out there as well. So going to see what happens. We're going to re-rack them. I believe it's going to be 2 to go when we cross the line. So let's see, ladies and gentlemen, is it going to be Wetstein? Is he going to be able to hold on to it? Or is David Sartwell Cornell, the number 2 machine, going to have the pace to get up there? Just like that, too, you've got Ryan Williams. He's in the mix. Jeff Hinkle in 4th. Brett Redder in 5th. A lot of fast guys. Again, everybody's pretty much on similar tire setups except for Ryan Williams Jr. His last pit was on lap 53. Will that affect him greatly as we get ready for the final showdown here? Here we go, boys. Pace car is in. We're going to watch Westing and see what type of launch he gets, or is he going to stack up the field behind him? Here we go. Westing gets the launch. Here comes David Sartwell Cornell. He's going to be kind of stuck on the high side. Looks like Ryan Williams Jr. having a little bit of connection problems there. Oh, Wetstein gets a huge run. It's going to be 2 laps to go. Does Cornell have anything for him, or is he suffering pretty good damage after that impact? Cornell gets bumped back to third. Now it's Ryan Williams in second. Oh, look at that massive, massive field here behind him. Look at Brett Redditor. Brett Redditor's up in the mix. He's in second. He gets by a gaggle of cars. The 97 machine's up 12 spots. And another crash behind him. Kyle Roberts involved. Looks like Felt's also involved. Jeff Hinkle. Dang it, boys. That's not what we wanted to see. So I believe now we're in green-white conditions. Let's grab the replay. That's going to be Jeff Hinkle involved. Hinkle in the 23 machine. Might have gotten a little bit of a love tap from the number 8. Oh, then everybody's wrecking. Ooh. Hinkle just getting tagged from everybody. Can't, unfortunately, get out of the race line. He's doing everything right. He's on the brakes. He's avoiding the carnage, but Hinkle just gets punterinoed by the field. Now, this is intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Redditor has worked his way up to second place. He's up 12 spots. David Starwell Cornell did not look like he quite had the pace that last run. Not sure what might have happened there. So let's see what they can do under green-white conditions here. Safe bet here, you're not going to see any of the top 5s coming in for tires under green-white conditions. They're going to run what they've got, see if they can hang it out. Everyone on very similar pit strategies in the top 10. Except for Charlie Gates Jr. His last pit was lap 54, so 14 laps older tires that he's on. And then Ryan Williams, we talked about him. His last pit was lap 53. Sixth caution of the night. Definitely not the cleanest run these guys have had. But if there was ever a time to get the kinks worked out, it is definitely before the season kicks off. We're going to re-rack him again behind the pace car. Pace car driver definitely getting his money's worth out of his salary tonight. He's burned a lot of laps. I dare say he's burned more laps than some of the racers have been able to after getting taken out early on. So hopefully we get that pace car driver a nice cold Coca-Cola as they go out for, I hope, the final shootout of the night. It's going to be 9 cars on the lead lap right now. That is your contention for any hope of a race lead. A couple of the guys at the back, Rockefeller and Wilkinson, came in, fixed some damage, put on 4 tires. We'll see if they can make something happen. As the field gets formed up, you can see a lot of cars with some pretty substantial body work doing their best to stay out there, looking more like Tour mods or SK mods at this point than they are next-gen Cup cars. These cars, lots of fun to drive, always a great time. Look at Starwell Cornell giving a friendly bump to Zach Wetstein. Raring to go. That's the racer way of saying, When that pace car comes in, you better go. We've got work to do. Westing not having any of it. He's going to check out the field just a little bit before he mashes down the accelerator. Gets a good launch. Is Redder going to drop low? No, Redder's going to stay high. Westing's going to move up as well. Let's see if Redder can fend off Sartwell Cornell. Green flag is out. 2 to go. Man, still anybody's guess. A lot of names up here we didn't expect to see as the run develops. Redder gets a good drive, but looks like Sartwell Cornell is going to dive up the inside. Let's see if Cornell can make it stick into the next corner. He doesn't have the run. He's going to tuck in behind Brett Redder. And behind Redder, you see him going 3 wide once more. Redder carries good speed. Sartwell Cornell just not able to clear right there. White flag is out. Westing drops low. He doesn't want to give the draft to anybody. This is going to be your battle for second. And oh man, third's going to be exciting as well. Westing's got to hold on to it for just a couple more corners to get the second place spot here. Or Redder's got to stay there, excuse me. Westing's got a pretty commanding lead. He's over a half second above Redder. And it looks like it's going to be Westing, Redder, Cornell as we cross the line. Take it to your race leader. That's Zach Westing. He's going to take the checkered. Followed by Brett Redder, Davis Sartwell, Cornell, and Justin Wilkinson, Charlie Gates Jr. is going to bring home our top 5. So well done to Westing. We're going to watch Westing burn it down. He was the driver's pick to win this thing tonight. Doing a well-deserved victory burnout. Brett Redder managed to bring it home in second. David Sartwell Cornell, not the finish he wanted in third, but a good, clean run. So for the most part, it was a very caution-heavy night. I believe 6 or 7 cautions, but for the most part, guys did a fairly good job working out the kinks, learning how hard they can push each other. As Zach Westing blows some smoke in that 420 machine, getting all of his money worth out of that tire set. That's going to put a wrap here tonight on the Drunk Driving Awareness 150. Instead of our usual podium ceremony tonight, we are going to pay one last moment of silence and respect for Mr. Bill and Sherry Redderer. Again, 8 years ago, life cut tragically short due to drunk drivers. So, as a reminder, all of our viewers at home, don't drive drunk. Grab an Uber, grab a taxi, call a friend. Anything is better than risking taking someone's life away, be it your own or someone else. So, again, this one goes out to Bill and Sherry. Gone too soon, but never forgotten. Brett Redder, he's going to go out there and celebrate both of the top 2, blowing their engines on that one. But a well-ran race for all these drivers, man, that managed to keep it clean, stay out there the entire time. As a reminder to everybody at home, June 22nd, the official season kicks off. The Late Night Rebels League will be firing up. 11 p.m. Eastern is when we go live every Tuesday night. Don't miss out any of the action on the Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Network. Pushing it to you on YouTube, 1080p, 60 frames a second. On behalf of James East, I'd like to thank you all for joining in. And thank you guys. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday as we do it again. Have a good night.